Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Now then, we're actually going to be working on both of the BMWs today, so the BMW E65 series and the BMW E87 1 series. And we're going to be doing something that I have actually never done before, but it's something that I definitely should have done already, after owning the cars for a bit of time now. It's something that doesn't actually, cost anything, so something that you can definitely do from home yourself for free, and it's a relatively easy thing to do as well. Now, before we get into the video, I would appreciate if you guys could just give this video a like, and that will really help me out. Just kind of helps push the video out and helps the YouTube algorithm. Now, instead of trying to explain what I'm going to be doing today, I think what we'll do is we'll get outside and I'll just go ahead and basically show you. Okay, now then, so we have the BMW 1 series there, we have the BMW 5 series here, and if we take a look, now bear in mind it's not too bad on the 5 series, but if we take a look at the bonnet, or the hood for my American friends, if we take a look at the front, then we can see that the bonnet, or the hood, doesn't actually quite line up with the wing or the fender. You see how there is a height difference? Maybe can you see better from that angle? You see how the bonnet's lower than the wing? And if we take a look on the other side as well, it's the same sort of story on this side. And now this is really quite bad. You can actually see like the primer on the back of the wing, which obviously you shouldn't be able to see, from looking at the bonnet. That's really quite bad. Now, initially I thought that this car had been in an accident. I know the front bumper has had a poor respray at some point, so I thought maybe the front bonnet has been replaced, or maybe it's been removed and then been put back, but maybe it's just not been aligned properly. But then I learned there's actually a solution to get this bonnet sitting flush again with the wings, and you don't need any tools whatsoever. And it's the same with the 5 series as well. Now, if you have a look at the bonnet, like I said, it's really not as bad as the 1 series. There is a slight difference in height, so we will be able to adjust that. That is that side. And if we take a look at this side as well, again there's a slight difference. It looks like the wing is actually slightly higher than the bonnet. Then we also have a slight gap at the front, and if we push down, we can see that it's not quite latched tightly. And if we push down on the 1 series bonnet, that's kind of a similar story as well. So yeah, what I'll actually do is I'll pop both of the bonnets, and I'll show you the solution that we have in place for this. Okay then, so if we take a look on the 1 series in the engine bay, and actually on the bonnet itself, we'll see we have these kind of like a bump stop, I'm guessing, for the bonnet. When it closes down, it actually makes contact with this tab just there, I'm guessing to stop the bonnet from going any further. You can see we have the exact same on the other side as well. Now, we have them on the 5 series, but they're actually not on the hood. They're actually on the body of the car. They are here, one there and one on the other side. Now, these actually twist, and they twist to adjust the height, and essentially what these are for then is to align the bonnet or the hood with the height of the wings. So that's essentially how we get our alignment from the bonnet to the wings. Now, we can also get our alignment from the bonnet to the front bumper as well. How I showed you how it wasn't quite latching correctly, how there was a slight bit of movement? We can actually correct that as well. Now, we do that by removing this screw here, which is just held in by a Phillips screw. Yeah, this is a bit stiff. I can tell this has never been removed. Okay, so we couldn't get that side out for whatever reason, but we managed to get this side out. So if we just remove the screw fully, yeah, I think it is just a plastic screw. And now you can see we actually can remove this plastic cap, and now we can see that we kind of have this thread, this threaded, I guess it's like a hook, it's almost like a towing eye, but this is actually our bonnet catch. So that's how it was from standard. So obviously this drops down and latches into here. Now it's exactly the same on the 1 Series, but we just have one that latches down into here. But yeah, essentially we can make this shorter or longer, so then that the bonnet either comes lower down or it's slightly higher up. So essentially we can make it tighter at the front, we can minimize that gap, and we can make our bonnet sit flush not only with the wings but with the front bumper as well. So now I guess it's time to make all of the adjustments both to the 5 Series and the 1 Series, and then we can try and get these both flush. So I think the first thing I'm going to do before I start adjusting these hooks, you know, to reduce the gap from the bonnet to the bumper, I think what I'm going to do is actually adjust these at the side. So obviously to make it taller you just need to turn it anti-clockwise. I'm going to get these sorted first, both on the 5 Series and the 1 Series, and then obviously we can you know, move on to doing the hooks where it meets the bumper. So I'll do that on both cars and I'll check in with you when I'm done. Right, so a little update then. I'm fairly confident that I have the 5 Series bonnet lining up with the wings quite nicely. It's that side, and this is this side. Yep, fairly happy with that. But on the 1 Series, it seems that we have to adjust it a hell of a lot. So I think we're pretty much nearly at the end of this adjustment. So there's quite a big gap on the 1 Series. Let's try this. Still needs a slight bit more on that side. Still needs a slight bit more on that side as well. Okay, so I think that's about done it, to be honest. Pretty happy with that side. And this side. Yeah, very happy with that. Now it's just going to be a case of doing the middle adjustments where the bumper lines up with the, when the bumper lines up with the bonnet. Now as you can see, the gap really doesn't look too bad. It looks relatively even on each side. Obviously there's only one adjustment on the 1 Series, that's how that gap is looking. On the 5 Series there is one adjustment on each side. Again, the gap looks pretty similar. I think we can probably get it a little bit closer there, so that's what we'll try and do. Okay, so we're going to start on the 1 Series. It's actually really rusty as well, this catch. There's the plastic screws coming out easy there. Let's slide this back. Should we just remove it all the way? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just rusted so bad, the actual catch, but it's just got an extra little bit of material around it, so it's making it hard for this plastic to come off. Well, finally managed to get this thing off, but I think we lost the retaining clip that the screw goes into. That fell down somewhere into the engine bay. I'll hopefully try and recover that. But yeah, this thing looks very, very rusty. I think I'm going to have a hard time removing that from the bonnet itself. Okay, so eventually managed to get it loose, and I think what I'm actually going to do is just remove this completely and just cover this thing in grease, just to try and prevent it from seizing up again. Now give it a good clean up, and just apply a lot of multi-purpose grease on this. There we go, nice and covered in grease. Let's get this thing reinstalled. Okay then, so I think this is the 1 series done. I have reinstalled the hook with the bracket, managed to find one of these push fittings which has secured this bracket quite nicely, and I've obviously already adjusted it. I'll show you now what it looks like, you know, how much of a gap we have, but I'm pretty pleased with it now. Okay then, so obviously we already done the sides, it's looking much better now. And here is what the front looks like. So obviously still a bit of a gap. I'm pretty sure that is you know, that is normal. I've actually reduced it to as small a gap as possible. When you get so far, you know, if you was to, you know, screw the screw that hook in so far, or I guess out so far, you know, you'll know that you've gone too far, because when you go to close the bonnet down, it won't even latch on. You know, you won't have any hook to hook onto, so to speak. So yeah, this is the maximum that I can go. As you can see, nice uniform line all the way along there. It's now time to move on to the 5 series. Okay, so eventually got both of the brackets off. As you can see, I now have both brackets off, and as you can see, these hooks are nowhere near as rusted. Well, they're not rusted at all. I'm guessing it's partly down to the fact that this bonnet is aluminium and on the 1 series it's steel. So yeah, it's one advantage of the 5 series. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is lower the bonnet as is, and then I can see which adjustments I need to make then. Okay, so with the bonnet down as is, this side doesn't look too bad, but then if we go over to this side, there is definitely a bigger gap. If you take a look, I know it's pretty hard to tell on camera, but definitely is a bigger gap on this side. And yeah, it's sitting slightly above the lights as well, so I think I'm going to adjust this side, and then probably won't even have to adjust this side. Maybe half a turn this side and maybe a full turn this side. We'll try that. Make this short, so clockwise. Half turn, full turn, and half turn. Let's try this then. This side looks pretty good now. Yeah, happy with that. I think this side still needs probably like half a turn. Maybe even a full turn. Try half and we'll go from there. Now. Let me show you. So obviously the alignment from the bonnet to the wing, spot on both sides, and then the alignment from the bonnet or the hood to the front bumper. Look, pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, not really going to get better than that, I don't think. Oh, and by the way, that gap where the grills are, it's really not that big. I think it's just because when I didn't have the light on, I guess it kind of looked bigger because the grills kind of blended into the gap. But yeah, as you can see, the gap really is quite small. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Now then, it's just a case of reinstalling these plastic brackets. go. That's on nice and tight. That's on nice and tight. That's pretty much job done. Okay then, so just a final look at how things are looking. This is the 5 Series. Looking so much better. And this is the 1 Series. Looking so much better. Okay then, so that is another little job done. That's the bonnet or hood, like I said, from my American friends. Aligned on the BMW 1 Series and on the BMW 5 Series. Now, it is to be noted that the procedure for the 1 Series is the exact same for the 3 Series. As we know, the BMW E87, E82, E81, E88 shares the exact same chassis as the E90 series, so the E90, E91, E92, E93. The procedure for both these cars is pretty much the exact same. Obviously the 5 Series, that being the odd one out, but yeah, it's you know, still easy nonetheless. Like I said, you don't really need any tools to do this. I guess, you know, all you need is a Phillips screwdriver just to undo the screws for the latch, for the bonnet latch hooks, and then, you know, once you've adjusted them, all it's a case of doing is just rotating them bump stops just to align the bonnet with the wings, and then you're pretty much all done, to be honest. But yeah, I hope this video has been somewhat helpful. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please remember to give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one. Peace!